Welcome to episode 22 of Two Guys, One Sport. My name is Chris.
I'm George. Hi, everybody. I don't have a pithy opening or anything. I wish I did, but we're here to talk about wrestling. Chris, how has your week been?
It's a pretty it was a crappy week at work, but you have one of those every so often. But we got graps, and next week's going to be a great week because we got a lot of graps, including a couple of awesome shows coming up to the New York area that I'm going to be talking about next week. That's our hook for next week.
In this business,
we call it a hook.
You like that, Triple H? In this business, like that?
It's what's best for business. This week we got some WWE. We got a lot of WWE to talk about, actually, as well as some New Japan and a little bit of a philosophical discussion later in the show. As always, though, we will start with our matches of the week. So, George, take it away.
My match of the week. I'm in a good mood, so I want to talk about a bad match. Because if I was in a bad mood and I want to talk about a bad match, I'd be in a worse mood. But I'm in a good mood, so I want to talk about a bad match because then I won't be in a bad mood. You understand that logic? I just made it up, so if it doesn't make sense, then whatever.
Logic is made up anyway, so you know what?
Anyway, this is from 2009, the infamous Jenna Maraska versus Sharmell from TNA's Victory Road. Chris, we are hyperbolic, you and I.
Yes.
Most people are. I need to tell you with a fact. Now, our friend Duke may disagree because he's seen the Heroes of Wrestling show with the infamously bad tag match featuring Sheik and Volkov versus the Bushwhackers. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to defer to him because he's watched more wrestling than I have. But this match may be the worst wrestling match I've ever seen. No joke. No lie. No hyperbole.
Yeah.
First, the highlight of the match was Sharmell coming out in a ball gown and thigh-high wrestling boots. Jenna Maraska was from Survivor and had 30 seconds of fame and decided that she wanted to parlay that into being a professional wrestler. Chris, she couldn't run the ropes.
I believe it.
I don't mean like, do you remember like Kelly? Or were you not around for that?
I wasn't around for that, but I've seen footage.
Okay, you know how Kelly couldn't run the ropes?
Yeah.
Okay. Jenna Maraska couldn't run in a straight line to the ropes. She would take off and curve and then hit the ropes for no particular reason. Like, she was unable to run in a straight line. Chris, I am not lying to you. If you take two kids and you say, I want you to pretend to be a professional wrestler, they would be better than having this match. Jenna had the worst offense I've ever seen. Her comeback included, paintbrushes? Like, they were palm strikes, and they were terrible.
Mm-hmm. When you can't slap somebody well, you're really doing it wrong.
I'm going to try to find a GIF, and it is just brutal. So, Sharmell, on her best of days, is below average. This was not her best of days because, again, she was wrestling in combat boots and an evening gown. Awesome Kong was totally and completely checked out. She was in the side. She punched one of the people in the head, and they sold like they'd been hit in the head with a frying pan, just fell backwards and died. Didn't move. They did the spot where they rolled over the ref to try to get heat. The match was bad. There was a Fire Russo chant at one point in time. Chris, you need to see it to believe it. It is unfathomably a bad professional wrestling match. The fact that a major company decided to put this on pay-per-view is shockingly, I should say shockingly because it's TNA, and we never underestimate their ability to be terrible at wrestling. Oh, here we go. I found the GIF. Copy image address. Right? No, that's the wrong button. That was search Google for image. Copy image address. Paste. All right. Yeah. Where's the thread? I got about 400 tabs open.
That's what happens every week when we've got the podcast. Yeah. I end up with all
right.
These,
I just pasted it. So give it a second. Survey says posting. I didn't do the image thing. I don't know why it's not posting. There we go. It just uploaded. Chris, click that GIF. Watch this match. Watch the 3 seconds of this girl trying to punch.
Yeah.
I don't know what these are. Oh, and she was totally completely blown up within 15 seconds. And her entrance included showing her asshole to the camera. I don't mean her ass. I mean the actual where poop comes out to the camera. This match was fucking terrible. It was god awful. It set women's wrestling back 10 years. It set men's wrestling back 10 years. This match sucked. It was horrible, completely and totally. It is the worst match I've ever seen. And I've been watching wrestling for 25 years. And I watched all of WCW from start to finish. So I got a PhD in bad professional wrestling.
Oh,
this match is it.
Lord.
This is the top of the mountain.
Lord.
Yep.
Wow.
That GIF should tell you all you need to know.
Wow.
So, all right.
Oh, holy crap.
Please have a better match.
I mean, my match of the week is not great by any standards, but compared to what I just looked at in that GIF, this might as well have been.
Oh, I forgot to mention the pin. No. She pins her with her vagina. I'm gonna post that too.
Yeah, compared to what you just described, my match may as well be Nakamura Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 9. Because Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. So
but is very bad at that too, as you can imagine.
Let's move on to something different. Okay, so this morning, for those of you who watch Progress, spoilers for Chapter 53, which happened over the weekend. This past weekend. If you don't want spoilers, I suggest you hit the mute button for the next 30 seconds. Okay, mute button's hit. All right, fine. So TK Cooper and Dahlia Black came back at the conclusion of Chapter 53 last weekend while British Strong Style was assaulting Travis Banks in the ring. And the pop they came out to, I'm not even kidding you, it rivaled the pop that some WWE wrestlers get in their debuts at full arenas. And if you've seen a Progress show, that's definitely not an arena. Like these are like those Progress shows get run in like small nightclub style venues, and they were fucking loud as shit. Just insanely loud. So after hearing that pop, I decided, you know what, we need to have our match of the week relate to proper usage of surprises and how to use those surprises in building to something meaningful. So, a little bit of backstory before we get to the actual match. 2014 Survivor Series, for those who don't remember, is Team Cena versus Team Authority. Ends with Sting making his debut in WWE, knocking out Seth Rollins, pulling Dolph Ziggler on top of Seth Rollins.
This is the Dolph Ziggler doing work match, right?
Yeah. Pulls Ziggler on top of Rollins and gets Team Cena the win, which ousts the Authority from power for all of about a month before Seth Rollins then proceeds to attempt to murder Edge in order to get John Cena to bring the Authority back, which then leads to the Authority firing Ziggler as well as Eric Rowan and Ryback for their roles as part of that Survivor Series match. That was the first episode of Raw in 2015, I want to say. So
sounds about right.
Yeah. January 5th. Yes, January 5th, 2015 was when that happened. So in their course of attempting to make it look like this was all John Cena's fault, they basically put Cena in these impossible situations because Cena is desperate to try and get these guys their jobs back because he knows they were unjustly fired. Excuse me. So this leads to the January 19th episode of Raw, which opens with Brock Lesnar promo calling out Seth Rollins. Which then leads to the Authority coming out, which then leads to Cena coming out, which leads to what becomes our match, the main event of that episode of Raw. A 3-on-1 handicap match between John Cena and the team of Seth Rollins, Kane, and Big Show. The stipulations for this match were if John Cena wins, then Ziggler, Ryback, and Rowan get their jobs back. If Cena loses, not only do those guys stay fired, but Cena also forfeits his spot in the World Heavyweight Championship triple threat match that was scheduled to happen at Survivor Series the following Sunday. That triple threat match was supposed to be Brock Lesnar versus John Cena versus Seth Rollins, and
from the Rumble.
Yes, and if
that's a good match, watch that match. Don't watch the match I'm talking about. That may be next week's match of the week. That match is freaking awesome. It is. That match is easily a top 10 match of that year. Maybe a top 5 match of that year. That match kicked ass.
It is. So this is the main event of the Raw Go Home show prior to the event where that match happened. And let's just talk about John Cena in WWE at this point, and also Seth Rollins in WWE at this point. So John Cena, this is right when we're on the cusp of when the Smarks started to get back to being okay with John Cena. Like there were still a lot of people who were just booing him because they were not a fan of Super Cena. This was before everybody was able to transfer their hate to Roman Reigns. That was 6 days away. But you could tell that there was starting to be some respect. I mean, there were still people with shirts in the crowd that said "We hate Cena" or "Cena go away" or all this other stuff. But there was definitely a good mix of cheers for Cena as well as boos at this point in time. As far as Seth Rollins goes, this was the middle of Seth Rollins' run as Mr. Money in the Bank when he was still the Authority stooge. But this was not this. He still had some character hooks to him. At this point, he was still the devious, cheating heel. We still had the Shield breakup fresh in our minds to some degree, and Seth was still Mr. Scumbag here. Just taunting John the whole time, and being the ultimate opportunist when it came to Brock Lesnar. Like he had curb stomped Brock Lesnar the previous week during the contract signing after Cena had put Lesnar through a table with an AA. So in this match, I mean, it's about how you would expect it to go. The match starts with Cena and Rollins. Rollins immediately tags in Big Show, and it just all goes downhill from there for Cena. He's just getting walloped on. No breaks, no nothing. J&J Security are at ringside also. This was when they were still around. And Cena at one point finally starts to make his comeback. He gets Kane knocked off the apron. Big Show was down on the outside. He gets Rollins up for the AA, and Noble and Mercury get on the apron and pull Rollins down. And then he knocks them Cena knocks them off the apron, but then Rollins sends him to the outside. Or actually, no, he goes for a pin on Rollins. Kane pulls Cena outside, then proceeds to distract the ref so that Big Show can then spear Cena. And he's basically done for at this point. They have a couple of false finishes. Finally they tag in Rollins again. He's looking for the curb stomp, and all of a sudden on the monitor, you see Sting appears on the monitor, just standing there, completely still, just staring at something, not even looking at the camera, just staring at a wall off to the side. And everybody out there is going nuts. I mean, Triple H and Stephanie are both out there. They're like standing at the entrance ramp. Kane and Big Show get off the apron and go and stand in the entrance ramp, staring at the Tron. Rollins is still in the ring, staring at the Tron. Like everybody's losing their goddamn minds. Sting then comes out from Gorilla and just stands at the top of the ramp, points down to Triple H and goes, "You!" Not like a Hulk Hogan style, like "You!" Not goofy like that. Just menacing. Just points straight at him, just staring daggers through him, and says, "You!" And you can tell everybody's transfixed by this scene, except for John Cena, who rolls up Seth Rollins to get the win right then and there when everybody's distracted. And the place goes freaking nuts because this was only the second time Sting had appeared in a WWE building ever. I mean, this was the first time being when he showed up at Survivor Series, and then he just disappeared. Nobody had seen or heard from him again for another 2 months until this. So that was immediately a sign of like, okay, now there's something serious. First time, he shows up. It's just okay. He's here, still, being the righteous Avenger that he was in WCW. Now we see he has a purpose. Now we see he has a cause, a reason to be here, and that seems to be going, trying to get at Triple H and the Authority. And the crowd was freaking nuts for it. In the post match, after the pin, Sting just turns around and walks back to Gorilla, and Triple H gets up on the announcer's table with a microphone and just starts losing his mind. Like, it can't happen that way. It can't happen. Sting, you don't belong here. Just like screaming for him. And the whole crowd is just screaming, chanting, "We want Sting. We want Sting. We want Sting." And they don't get Sting. What they get is Brock Lesnar, who earlier in the night had said to Seth Rollins, "I'm not going to hurt you as long as you do your job tonight and take John Cena out of that match on Sunday." Rollins failed.
That makes sense.
So
that is logical and makes sense because it's easier for Brock to retain in a one-on-one versus a triple threat.
So Lesnar.
Wow, that wrestling makes sense.
So Lesnar, he comes to the ring, Heyman by his side. He just tosses the belt to Heyman, gets in the ring, double leg takedown, and Lesnar just starts beating the shit out of him. Like Kane and Show are both like transfixed for a second, and then they go to pull him off, and they're like trying to get him away. And Lesnar, being the freak that he is, fights them off. F5 to Kane, another double leg takedown on Rollins. Gets it, again beating the shit out of him. Show pulls him off, so it's like okay, fine. F5 to Show.
I'm watching this on YouTube. This is great.
As J&J are running with Rollins up the ramp, getting him the fuck out of there, and Rollins and Lesnar just
Rollins selling death.
Yeah.
This is so. I'm watching this on YouTube. Here, I gotta post this. Rollins is like pleading for his life, like, "Oh, I know I fucked up, but please don't kill me here. Where's my?"
Yeah, that was the best.
This is just amazing.
When Lesnar's coming down the ramp and Rollins is just like, "Oh God, oh
Lesnar
man,"
as the angel of fury.
and he
This is awesome. Rollins is like, I haven't seen this much range from Rollins in a long time.
Yeah, and he's just like begging the whole way.
This is where 6 months of chicken shit heel Rollins pays off.
Yeah, exactly. And then so the show closes with with Lesnar just pacing around the ring, staring at the processes of Kane and Show.
Big men aren't supposed to move that quickly.
I know, it's terrifying.
Like, he just picks up the Big Show. Holy shit! Holy shit with ease.
Yep.
And Show takes an awesome bump.
Yep. It was
that was
good.
So great. And then the Rumble was so bad. Well, that match was good.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the.
Brock has this huge welt on his face too.
Yeah, but that was from.
Someone just nailed him.
That was the curb stomp from the previous week.
Oh, good sell. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
good call, Chris.
So I talked about the usage of surprises. Sting being there made that match. Without Sting being there, that would have been just a standard John Cena overcomes, and everybody would have been like, yeah, whatever, boo. With Sting being there and Cena just only barely able to eke out the win because of Sting showing up, that made that match. Like, Cena was getting his ass kicked. 3-on-1 handicap, Cena getting his ass kicked. I mean, that's something you wouldn't have seen like in 2008, 2009. It would have been okay. He's in a 3-on-1 match, but he still wins. He fights off the entire Nexus. And beats the entire Nexus. This is not that same John Cena who beat the entire Nexus. This is definitely a much more aged and more vulnerable John Cena than John Cena in his prime. He did a fantastic job of selling the fact that he was just getting pummeled out there. Well done by John Cena. And the fact that they used Sting here gave them a logical build towards what was, in the end, a complete dumbass move with the WrestleMania match between Sting and Triple H. But at that point, that was as the start of the build to that story, it made sense and it worked. And the fact that they used Sting sparingly along the way but still were able to build to that story. It was one of the few things that WWE... He
just throws the belt at Paul Heyman. I'm watching this again and listening to it at the same time. He's just mid-stride. He's like, take the belt. I have business is about to pick up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Brock, this was the prime Lesnar. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
Lesnar.
Big men aren't supposed to be this fast. I don't care if you're on the stuff that they give cattle before they fatten them up in terms of performance-enhancing drugs. Big men are not supposed to do the shit that Brock Lesnar does. See, we've talked about this in the past. This is why I love Brock Lesnar. Because shit's different with Brock Lesnar than it is with almost anyone else in WWE.
Yeah.
You know who's starting to get that way for me, by the way? Roman Reigns is starting to get that way for me, by the way. Because you can testify to this. We're going to jump around a little bit, but true or false? I am not a Roman Reigns fan.
Oh, very true.
True or false? Did I not text you Monday night saying Roman is carrying this match?
You did.
I was on the treadmill at the gym watching on Sling and texting you during the commercials.
Yep.
And I was saying Roman Reigns is carrying these two mofos.
Yep.
And he did. Because I am almost at the corner. Like, in terms of turning the corner, I'm almost at the corner. The turn signal's on, Brother Chris. I'm waiting for the arrow.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the arrow to go from red to green before I turn the fucking corner on Roman Reigns. I'm almost there.
Yes, you can't see right now, but I'm like pumping my fists in joy right now. It's
Braun,
awesome.
Joe and Braun are awesome. They're not awesome at the actual wrestling part of professional wrestling. They're awesome at everything else.
Braun has some things he's good at.
Limited. I mean, if you had a drinking game where you had a shot every time you ran into something, you'd have to get your stomach pumped after 10 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah.
They're limited. Joe is limited because he's beat the crap, and Braun's limited because he's still pretty green. I mean, this is what, year 2 of him actually being a wrestler?
Yeah.
So
he gets how to use throw his body.
How to use he's just, and they're both great at everything else. They both cut good promos. They're both physical as hell. They both have presence. They're just not good at the actual in-ring part, and they're not good by WWE standards at the actual in-ring part. And we talked about this last week, the standards of this company with Mike Kanellis.
Yes.
Without Roman Reigns, if Roman Reigns is not in that match falls apart.
Yeah.
The planet who could have had a good match in those circumstances with those two is like 6 people.
Yeah.
Roman, AJ, Cena, Okada,
Naito.
Sabre Jr., because he would have bumped around like a mofo and done his cool submission stuff. Tetsuya Naito.
And maybe Ibushi.
Maybe Pete Dunne. That's 8 guys and 3 maybes. Right? Am I forgetting anybody off the top of your head?
The only other people I can think of and it were probably Travis Banks. He definitely has the skill.
Sure. I don't think Chris Hero could have done that, and I love Chris Hero. I don't think Drew McIntyre could have done that, and I love Drew McIntyre.
Maybe Aleister Black, but I don't know that they would have sold his offense.
They wouldn't have sold it. His he's like 5'9".
Yeah.
Braun isn't selling a kick from a guy who's 5'9", like he's selling a punch from a guy who's 6'2".
Not even Brock. It's
Braun. I meant Braun. I'm sorry, but like Brock. No. There's no one on the planet who loves Brock Lesnar more than I do. And no, that match would not have been as good if Brock Lesnar was in Roman Reigns' place. Yeah. It would have been a spectacle, but it was a 15. And I know it was 15 minutes because I'm on the treadmill. They got a little timer in front of you on the treadmill, you know.
Yeah. And
it started from the commercial at exactly 25 minutes to go in my workout, and it ended at around 9:12, 9:15, 9:13 or something. So it was like 16 minutes. Now, obviously, some of it was a commercial, but it was a long chunk of match. Brock Lesnar's not having a 15-minute match that's that good with those 2 guys who are that limited.
Yeah. Maybe Keith Lee, but
maybe
that's a maybe. Matt Riddle also a maybe.
Maybe, but the problem with Keith Lee is that it'd be a lot of out brawl stuff.
Yeah,
and brawl stuff's fine, but I don't think who's selling the moonsault.
Yeah,
the thing Roman in that match was the connective tissue that prevented that from being a stinker and made it into something that was good. So I know we're kind of bouncing around, but I just thought of that. I am, like I said, I'm in the turn lane. The signal's on. Yeah. I'm ready to turn the corner on this guy.
Nice. Hopefully.
We're getting there. He is. You can have your problems with the character. You can have your problems. You can have your problems with the promos. You can have your problems with. You can have your problems with the draw or lack thereof. But I am sitting here now and saying on August 4th, 2017, you cannot have a problem with Roman Reigns being an in-ring wrestler. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. He's had too many good matches with too many different guys.
Yeah. Jared K. Link from Cage Side, he was tweeting earlier this week. I don't remember exactly when it was. It might have been Wednesday, I want to say. But I think he was catching up on Raw, and he tweeted on his timeline, and the people who hate Roman, I don't know what the people who hate Roman are watching when they're watching his matches, and I don't know either.
I don't get it. Again, I'm just talking about the bell.
Yeah.
Just set aside the promos are better, but it's still a work in progress. And obviously, we've talked about the presentation, and let's set that aside. I'm just talking bell to bell. He's one of the 10 best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah. He says, I don't understand what these Reigns haters see when they watch Roman wrestle. They say stuff that makes me question what match they're watching.
Not only that, they say stuff that makes me question what they're looking for in professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. Now, if you hate Roman Reigns because you love because your cup of tea for wrestling is just indie flippy boys, God bless. Roman Reigns is never going to be Will Ospreay. He's never going to be Myron Reed. He's never going to be Joey Janela. He's never going to be ACH. If that's your thing, and I'm not being sarcastic, if your thing is watching like 1990s cruiserweights and guys doing lucha stuff, and you don't like Roman Reigns because of that, cool, I'm with you there. But if you're a New Japan fan and you don't like Roman Reigns, you're doing something wrong because he wrestles a New Japan style. If you're a British strong style fan, like his main events could fit into Progress and would not miss a beat. Like if you picked up Roman Reigns and you put him in the G1, he'd hold his own.
Roman Reigns and Pete Dunne could have 5-star matches every night of the year. The two of them back and forth.
There was 4 people in this company, in the WWE, who could fit in the G1 without missing a beat. And Roman is one of them. The other 3, by the way, AJ, obviously, Cena, and Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. Because the Brock matches would be 9-minute sprints. Because they don't know what he's doing.
Obviously Nakamura, but I mean, for a guy who's been there.
Yeah. I forgot about Nakamura. So 5 people. So setting aside AJ, I mean, the people who have not competed in the G1, who have not competed in New Japan.
Yeah.
Brock. I'm technically not in the G1. Yes, he was in New Japan, I know. Brock, Roman, Cena. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
3 guys. That's it. Maybe Seth Rollins. Maybe on his best day. His absolute best day. Could maybe be in the G1. And that's I can't stress the word maybe enough. The same with Kevin Owens. Rollins and Owens are in that tier of maybes. But there are 3 locks that could compete with the best in the world. And Roman Reigns is one of them. Roman Reigns is the second best wrestler in this company. And only because the best wrestler is AJ Styles. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Again, the only excuses I have for you not liking Roman Reigns in ring is if you don't like the Roman Reigns style. Because you prefer CMLL or the heavy submission stuff of the Lucha Independence or that stuff. And I'm cool with that. But if you like quote-unquote mainstream professional wrestling, Roman Reigns is your guy.
Yeah. Okay. If the people who are booing Roman Reigns, like Sal said, are the people who like Young Bucks spot fests.
God bless. And God bless. I'm serious.
But then you shouldn't be watching WWE.
No, exactly. Because Roman Reigns is the absolute pinnacle of what a WWE wrestler is. Yeah. And if you don't like that, the WWE's not for you.
Yeah. There is a WWE style, whether people want to admit it or not, and he is the freaking master of it.
He's the master of it. The WWE style is all signature maneuvers, strikes, long selling.
Yeah.
For good or for ill. We can debate whether or not that's the best style or the worst style or in between. That's not the point of this argument. You cannot be pissed that you go to a McDonald's and get something other than a Big Mac.
Exactly.
But that being said, Roman Reigns is a damn good Big Mac.
Yes.
Like, if you're not on board with this guy as an in-ring competitor, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Like, then you're working a gimmick, or you're looking for something that just isn't there.
Yeah.
And at that point, unless you fall into one of the exceptions where you like the spot fest, you like the flippy shit, you like the heavy submission style, then I got nothing for you at this point. And I'm just washing my hands. Washing my hands of all of it. I'm not going to waste my time. If I'm not wasting my time online, I'm not wasting my time on Twitter fighting gimmicks. I got more important things to do. I work 50 hours a week, Chris. I ain't got time to waste on fighting gimmicks.
Nobody got time for that. The third option there is that people are just being stubborn at this point because they've spent so much time hating Roman. And you know what? If that's really what you want to do, it's
so tiring.
If you would rather be stubborn and spiteful about a wrestler instead of just being able to sit back and enjoy it, then you know what? You need to take a break from watching wrestling.
That's it. That's it, man.
At this point, then
man.
Stop watching for the enjoyment of a form of entertainment. And now you're just watching because you want to be right. And if you want to be right, well, there are easier ways to to prove that you're right about something rather than watching a show that you have absolutely no control over. So anyway, So getting back to that.
Sorry,
match,
that was sorry. I thought of that, and I just wanted to say because.
I mean, that's
normally I've talked about this before. Normally I watch wrestling and I don't watch it entirely focused. I have CageSideSeats.com, your one-stop shop for wrestling news and banter, up. I have the Observer's live stream and the board up. I have Twitter up. So I'm bouncing back and forth between windows, and I miss a facial expression here or a spot there. But when I'm on the treadmill, obviously I'm kind of a captive audience. I'm not really can't really go anywhere. So I was able to watch that match in its entirety.
Yeah.
So
and we'll come back to that in just a minute when we start talking about Monday Night Raw and how it built up to SummerSlam. But anyway, just getting back to that Cena handicap match. The use of Sting in that sparing amount for the build up to the WrestleMania match really capitalized on his presence as a performer and using him as a surprise. As I said, made the match. Obviously, where Cena went from there. I mean, we all know, Lesnar wound up winning the triple threat at the Royal Rumble, and Cena then went on to his feud with Rusev from there. And that was when Cena turned the corner. That was when Cena turned around, and when the United States, the U.S. Open Challenge started, and Cena, had that summer of goddamn amazing matches with anyone and everyone up and down the card that would come out there. I mean, the dude was just he was the guy keeping the company together while everything else was falling down around them with regards to Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. I mean, and everything was falling down around them. Let's not mince words there. It was bad. But John Cena and the U.S. Open Challenge, it started that night in January. Him winning that triple threat match, leading into the Royal Rumble match, leading into the Rusev feud, leading to the U.S. Open Challenge. And I mean, you couldn't ask for a better redemption arc for a guy who spent so much time over the prior 3 or 4 years just being hated and reviled because he was where he was instead of CM Punk being where he was. That's really what it comes down to there. Cena took it all in stride, spent 4 years just being this despised figure, and in the course of 6 months turned it all around and had the people who had been calling for him to be fired years before now saying that he was one of the greatest pieces of the company. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, like I said,
let's talk about Raw.
January 19th, 2015 Raw. It's on the network if you want to watch it. Now let's talk about this past week's Monday Night Raw.
Let's talk about WWE because we already spent a while. First of all, next week's match of the week for sure, I made a post-it note on my computer, is going to be that Rollins Cena Lesnar triple threat. So bit of a tease for that. I got a post-it note on my computer. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done here. I'll take notes. That's next week's match of the week because that match is unfreaking believable. Let's talk about SummerSlam and Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. All right. So this week we had the promo of Mr. Paul Heyman I mean, we knew this was going to happen the minute that John Jones won his UFC fight and called out Brock Lesnar. We knew this was going to happen. In convincing fashion.
This is not two guys, one sport, MMA, but Jones is pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and he's walks around real quick MMA classes. You got to be under 205 to be a light heavyweight. So Jones barely makes the cutoff. He walks around 230, so it will not be tough for him to be big enough to be in the heavyweight bracket, which is between 265 and 205. Brock usually gets in the cage right at 265.
Mm-hmm.
Jones will probably get in 230. So, I mean, that won't be a problem at all. People talk about, oh, man, he's given 30 pounds. Doesn't matter. John Jones is a bad man.
Yeah.
As soon as he won that fight, you knew that it was the tick-tock. Tick-tock. Brock Lesnar was getting back in that cage.
Yep, and it basically became all but assured with this week's promo by Paul Heyman interrupting Kurt Angle opening the show. We had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come to the ring, and Heyman, in one of his better promos of 2017, I would say, basically laid it all out as this was Angle following the dictates of his corporate overlords, mandating that Brock Lesnar must lose the title at SummerSlam. So Heyman called his shot right then and there and said, if Brock Lesnar loses the title at SummerSlam, then he leaves WWE and I leave with him. But then went on to say, of course, because he's Paul Heyman and this is how he ends every promo before a title fight, saying that even despite that declaration, the announcement at the end of SummerSlam would be, and still your WWE Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. So we officially have our triple threat. Our fatal four-way. I'm sorry. Our fatal four-way is set. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. Will rightfully be the main event of SummerSlam. I mean, if this is not the main event of SummerSlam, then Vince is gone senile, even more so than he already is.
I would stipulate that this is one of the most anticipated matches in months, if not years.
Yeah.
The way they have built this program perfectly. The way that all five of these men, and I'm counting Heyman, in fact, all six of these men, I'm counting Angle into that six sum, have performed their roles admirably. You have Brock Lesnar as the Angel of Death with his smarmy mouthpiece. You have Roman Reigns as Marcel said in the thread, the high school jock who can back it up, and the smug, condescending, highborn wrestler who just says, "None of you are worth my time. I'm better than all of you."
Exactly.
You have Samoa Joe as the man with the chip on his shoulder, who's still, after 30 years, after 20 years in the business, is still fighting and clawing and feeling disrespected. And you have Braun Strowman as the force of nature.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah.
I still like to say it.
Despite everything else, feels disrespected.
Yeah.
And you have Braun Strowman as the force of nature.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle as the guy barely holding it all together. Lurching from crisis to crisis.
That gif after Strowman said, "And you don't deserve shit," is still my favorites.
Yeah. What more do you? I mean, this is a match. I've not been as excited for a match since. Oh man, Brock Goldberg maybe, but that's because I'm the world's biggest Brock fan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, AJ Cena from January, and that's because I was in the building. Like, I can't. They have rolled nothing but natural 20s on this build. It has been unbelievable how good this build has been, and how good all six of these guys are at their jobs.
Fighting Irish, I mean, you do bring up a good point. You know, it might not be anticipated for people who aren't fans of the guys involved, but, you know, I'm a guy who I appreciate what Brock does in the ring. I don't like it, the performance that he gives outside of the ring, but, you know, that is what it is. I'm indifferent about Joe at this stage of his career because in the ring he really can't go anymore. But even in spite of those things, I'm fucking stoked as hell for this match. I could not possibly be more excited because in terms of options of what the SummerSlam main event could have been, this is a match that I can actually get behind and say, this is something that's going to be goddamn awesome because the guys who are working it are going to make it look freaking violent as hell. I mean, the only possible
main event, all 4 of these guys have no problem stiffing it up.
The only possible main event that could have been better in my book would have been an AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura main event, and we're not getting that. Not until probably. I mean, we may not get that ever as a main event of a pay-per-view. Maybe SummerSlam next year if both of them are still healthy and still working, God willing. But I mean, I mean, my best guess is that we'll get that one day as a Mania undercard match. But in terms of matches that could have happened, in terms of the current storyline, the storylines that have been going on in WWE, and the way that things have been built, this was the best bet. And these guys, the program they have been putting on has been stellar, as George was saying. This has been nothing short of masterful work. And I mean, yeah, the rest of the show has fucking suffered around it because all the energy's going into this. But you know what? I'm okay with that because, I mean, I'd rather have one program that is stellar than have all of the programs just be kind of meh. And I feel like that's where we were at for a long time in 2015 WWE. That is something that after the initial brand split that Raw in 2016 suffered from. A lot of the programs just being kind of meh. And that's something that SmackDown is suffering from right now. Where every program on the show, almost every program on the show is just kind of there. And there's nothing real. There's no hook. There's no hook. There's nothing to grab you. You know, or what there is to grab you is offset by something that is just awful. You know, on the other side. So, in terms of what main events we could have gotten, this is, I feel, the best possible option. I am stoked as hell. I just hope to God that Roman doesn't win. As a fucking Roman Reigns, like, A1 fan, a guy who, you know, I will support Roman Reigns until he fucking retires. Love this man. I do not want to see him win in front of a Brooklyn crowd that is just going to boo him out of the building because they're a bunch of ungrateful fuckheads. And I'm from Brooklyn. And all of my Brooklyn people who are going to be at that show, you're a bunch of ungrateful fuckheads. I'm going to call you that right now. I don't care. Because they will boo him out of spite.
I don't think Roman needs the title. I don't think
he doesn't need it yet. And that's the other thing, too. He doesn't need it right now. A win at Mania in front of that New Orleans crowd, I think.
Oh, they're going to boo him, too.
Oh, they'll boo him,
that's too. That's a given. That's a given at this point.
Yeah, that's just going to happen.
Don't let the crowd reactions be the thing that dictates your booking at this point. If you told me that 3 years ago, different story. But they have cast their lot with Roman Reigns after 2 years of fits and starts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean it really is just like you said, if they had just plowed ahead, they may have had a chance, but they didn't.
If they had just given him the belt in 2015 or 2016 at the main events of those WrestleManias and kept the belt on him for 9 months, we wouldn't be here. Instead, they half-assed it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They half-assed it.
Yeah.
They fucked around with it. They did the Rollins shit and then went nowhere with that. Mm-hmm. As cool as that moment was when Rollins was cashing in and everyone popped and that was great. And I was jumping up and down in my buddy's living room. You know, that was great. And you were cheering too. We all were cheering. Don't hate.
I actually was not cheering because I was just kind of disenchanted with Rollins at that point. But I mean, this was still very early on in my fanhood of wrestling in general. And I was not a fan of chicken shit Seth Rollins and J&J Security and all that stuff.
Ultimate chicken shit Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but in hindsight, looking back, it was infinitely better than what we got as WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. Yeah. But that's another story for another day.
If they had either A, turned him full blown heel in 2015, or B, said screw this, we're putting the belt on him, and you're going to eat your vegetables and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
But instead, Instead, they half-assed it, and now here we are.
The problem was then and continues to be now that Vince wants what he wants, but only wants it the way that he wants it.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he wants people to be fans of Roman, but he wants them to be fans of face Roman, and it's never going to happen. And he spent all that time digging his heels in until he finally said, "All right, fine. You know what? You write your own stuff. You do your own thing because and you'll still be on top. I don't care what people say."
Yeah. He's not John Cena. You are. It's not a bad thing to be not John Cena. I'm not knocking the guy for not being John Cena. The list of guys who aren't John Cena is a mile long.
And we don't need another John Cena. Well, we've still got the original there.
I'm talking about the guy who can polarize fans yet still draw.
Oh yeah,
is what I meant by that. I'm sorry, I should have been more specific.
Yeah,
the guy who gets people in the building just to hate him, like he's 1987 Ric Flair. Like that's not Roman Reigns. But that's okay. It's okay. He's one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, and he's doing great work. I hope Joe gets the belt because it's now or never with Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
we're going to have a full-blown preview in 2 weeks. The show's in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, 2 weeks
from Sunday. Yeah, we'll have a full-blown preview in a couple weeks, but when we have more thoughts and more of a build and the card is a little more structured. So this would be quick. Anything else on Raw that you liked besides Nia Jax may or may not killing Bayley?
If I can understand your question, as far as how long I would keep him away from the title scene,
forever. He doesn't need the belt. Belt needs him more than he needs the belt.
Yeah, I mean,
you should be a special fraction at this point.
I don't know about forever, but I mean, I am with Roman Reigns being the cocky shithead that he is right now. I actually would be. I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum from that. I am okay with Roman getting the title at WrestleMania and keeping it for a fucking year and just beating the shit out of everyone and just getting in the face of the crowd and being like, "Yeah, I beat your favorite again, and I've still got the title." And guess what? You're still sitting in the seats.
Cena had the belt for like 21 of 24 straight months or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason he dropped the belt was because he got cashed in on at Money in the. He got cashed in on and then won the belt again like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt for like 6 weeks and came back and won the belt again after he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Something like in 2000, in between 06 and 08, I think he had the belt literally like 21 of 24 straight months. And it made him. And he drew. And it made good business.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Roman's going to draw like Cena, because Cena is a once-in-a-generation draw. But what do you have to lose?
Exactly.
You're losing Brock till at least the Rumble. At least. And then he's coming back for 2 matches. Then you're losing him again for another 6 months because he's going to go play cage fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Braun's not a champion, a long-term champion. Braun Strowman's not a long-term champion. Like, what are you doing here? Unless you do something totally crazy, and you move over AJ Styles or something. Not only is he your best option, he's a good option.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's literally nowhere else to go at this point. I mean, you can't run from fate any longer at this point, Vince.
That's it.
Fate has determined that Roman Reigns is going to be hated by a large segment of the audience simply for existing, and nothing's going to stop that.
Okay, this is Cena's title reign. You ready? I looked it up. Won the belt at the Royal Rumble in 2006. Mm-hmm. Held the belt until that July when he lost to Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand. Okay? Yeah. Got the belt back that September, so he had the belt. He did not have the belt from July to September of 2006, and then he held the belt from September of 2006 to when he vacated it in October when he blew his pectoral out. Mm-hmm. So from January 2006 to October 2007, John Cena did not have the belt from July to September of 2006.
2 months out of 21.
2.5, 3 months, whatever it was, out of a year and 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of reign I'm talking about. And he beat a murderer's row. He beat Triple H twice. Clean.
Yeah.
He made Triple H tap out in the main event of WrestleMania. Clean as a sheet. He beat Edge twice in a TLC match in Toronto.
Yep.
Like, that's the storyline you do with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
give him the belt and you have him just beat the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
And you say, this is our guy. And if you like it or you don't. But as Ric Flair once said, if you like it or you don't, you learn to live with it because it's the best going today.
Yeah. I mean, you are a testament to the fact that it is possible for people to turn around and realize, you know what, this was stupid.
Because I have eyes.
Yeah. So, all right. As far as the rest of Raw, let's talk about that women's match. The Nia Jax experiment needs to end, and they need to send her back to NXT. She's not safe. I mean, Rovert. I don't remember if it was Rovert or it definitely was Rovert because he's the only one salty enough to do not salty enough, but surly enough to do something like this. He sent out a tweet. I want to say like early Tuesday morning, late Monday night, something like that. Said something to the effect of, "Imagine seeing your name versus Nia on the card and not quitting immediately," followed by pictures of all the injuries that Nia has caused over the course of her time with the company. I mean, there was this awful segment with Bayley. I mean, there was the match that she had with Charlotte where Charlotte almost died twice on botched spots. I forget what the third one was. I want to say it was a match against either Dana Brooke or Emma, where whoever the opponent was just fucking dumped hard on their shoulder. And she's got a thing for just causing shoulder injuries to people.
Charlotte. You talking about Charlotte one?
No. This was in addition to the Charlotte one.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there was
like a bad infomercial.
Yeah,
but wait, there
were more. There was more. I don't remember. Obviously, Rovi's timeline is way too full for me to go that far back and get it.
That's not.
We'd get to it at the end of the show, but
we get to the end of next week's show.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Nia Jax experiment. I understand why they did it. It needs to be over.
She's unsafe.
She is.
She's not intentionally unsafe. She's
green.
She's not malicious. She's just incompetent.
Yeah, she's green, and her look only gets her so far. And even now, at this point, her look doesn't get her very far at all.
My problem with Nia Jax, besides the green, is that she's not a monster at heart. She's too nice.
Yeah.
Like the lady behind the gimmick is too nice of a person to be a monster on my television screen.
Yeah.
To convincingly portray a monster on television.
Yeah.
I got a big problem with that. Like, I believe Tamina Snuka is a monster. She does a decent job portraying it. She does nothing else well. Don't get me wrong. But like, Nia Jax, she just seems so reluctant with it because it seems so contrary to her real, quote unquote, real personality.
Yeah.
She's too nice, Chris.
Person. Yeah.
Be less nice.
Yeah. I mean, or just, get better acting skills. I mean, one of the women who's coming up in the Mae Young Classic is Jazzy Gabbert, previously known as Alpha Female, from the German independent circuit. And Lita said during the parade of champions that they had on the night that the Mae Young Classic was filmed, Lita said during the parade of champions, Jazzy is just a sweetheart outside of the ring, and I believe that. But having watched some alpha female matches, God, there's somebody who can portray a scary ass big woman, like legitimately just terrified of the fact that she will run you over. And I mean, if you're looking for someone to be that kind of a monster heel and to have the look of a monster heel in the women's division, there she is. I mean, I believe that if they haven't signed her already, it's entirely likely that she's going to be signed, or announced that she has been signed as soon as the Mae Young Classic has been aired on the network. She's good in the ring. I mean, she's not mind-blowingly great. She's not Io Shirai, but she's good enough in the ring, and she plays her role well of being a monster. I mean, it's not like you can get fucking Aja Kong out of Sendai Girls. I mean, and Aja Kong is also 46, so I mean, there's no.
Yeah, there's a problem there.
What
do you think about Jessica Havoc? Not the look, but can definitely be a monster.
Yeah, but she also doesn't really have the ring work. I mean, she's got her things that she does well, but she's not. I mean, I don't know that she necessarily has the skill set to. Yeah, but I mean, I think Jessica Havoc can last longer before she's exposed, but I think at some point she is eventually going to be exposed. I mean, she and Vanessa Craven both have run gimmicks on the indies alongside Tessa Blanchard, being Tessa Blanchard's enforcer. And the both of them, they both fit the look well, but both are also limited in the ring and run the risk of being exposed for their limitations if they are forced to do things more than what they're capable of. And that's the problem with WWE. We've talked so many times about WWE not putting their performers in positions to exceed, and that's because half the time the reason why they don't put their performers in positions to succeed is because they ask too much of their performers. They ask them to do things that they're just really not going to be capable of because they want every performer to have the same skill set. And some people are just not good at certain things. Some people are not good promos. Some people are not good in the ring.
One of the things that Paul Heyman did masterfully at ECW was that he played to his wrestler's strengths, and he hid their weaknesses. He knew Sandman couldn't go in the ring, so we didn't have him go in the ring. He knew Dean Malenko couldn't cut promos, so we didn't have him cut promos. Like it's not different. It's like real sports. If you have a guy who's built to be an offensive lineman, you don't have him catch passes. We've discussed this,
Adam Rice found the tweet for me, and actually wasn't a shoulder thing. But it was Emma. She got a horrific looking bruise on her right eye, like on the actual,
like a pop cornea or something.
Yeah, that's oh Lord. Anyway, so yeah, the Nia Jax experiment. I don't know, but Bayley is due to have a quote unquote evaluation on Monday, which leads me to believe that this is definitely a worked injury. But if they decide
it's a shoot that they're using as a work, like I could believe that she's hurt, but they're say, all right, come to TV, we'll quote unquote diagnose you now and get you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could believe that she's hurt because that spot, holy shit. Like, but I think they're kind of steering into the skid a little bit.
Yeah, that might be true too. Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, I'm not interested in seeing Bayley, to be honest. I think 6 months off could be good for her in the long run. Kind of.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised that they went with Bayley here and they just didn't go with Sasha again, because Brooklyn adores Sasha Banks. There's no denying the fact that Brooklyn crowds are going to fall down and worship the ground that Sasha Banks walks on from now until the cows come home. That is just going to remain a fact. They love her in Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, she could show up just stand in the ring, and for 10 minutes, and just the crowd would just chant at her adoration, and she could just stand there and eat it up, and then just leave, and the crowd would love it because that's what they love. What else has happened on Raw?
How much? The Hardys are awoken, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We may get the. I like the. I like the job they're doing with Ambrose and Rollins.
Yeah,
that's a good story.
I definitely want to talk about that. Yeah, the 2/3.
Yeah, that's a good story. They are slow burning the shit out of it, and I approve.
Yeah, this has been great. I mean.
You know what, Chris? If you hit me in the back of the head with a chair and then curb stomp me through cinder blocks, it would take a lot more than a few tag matches for me to be nice to you.
Yeah.
I'd eventually come around because I am a good guy at heart, even though I am the heel of the show. But it would take some time. It would take some time if you curb stomp me through cinder blocks before I filmed the
show. Friend of the show and excellent all around person, Things and Stuff. Wrote a
fellow from Chicago, much like myself.
She wrote a fan post earlier this week. It's on CageSideSeats.com, your one-stop shop for wrestling news and banter. It's called "The Story I Didn't Know I Needed" about this Rollins-Ambrose reunion, and it is a superb write-up. She does a far better job of explaining it than either of us could.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
I I highly recommend you go and watch it. In fact, I will link it in the live thread for those who have not read it. I highly recommend you go and watch it. Or go and watch it. Go and read it ASAP. And then the other thing is that they're slowly building this up to probably what's going to end up being a match for the Raw Tag Team titles at SummerSlam between Ambrose and Rollins versus Sheamus and Cesaro, and I think that'd be a great match. I mean, you get 4 guys in the ring who are good at their respective styles and can make their styles mesh well together. Rollins and Cesaro both have history of working together. I believe that Ambrose and Cesaro also have worked together in the past on the Indies.
Wouldn't shock me.
And Sheamus is a great worker, just all around. Fits well with anybody. And I'm
okay with this. I like this program.
It's a good way to build up a tag division that had been really stagnant just a couple of months ago.
Plus, it gives it a little bit. Plus, this gives it a little bit of differentiation from SmackDown's tag division. SmackDown's tag division are actual tag teams.
Yes.
Raw's tag division, with the exception of the Hardys, are
and the club.
On the club, are singles guys who are put together in tag teams.
Yeah.
Through circumstances.
Yeah.
I kind of like that a little bit. I don't think they did that intentionally. That could just be me reaching, trying to find a link that isn't there. But hey, I kind of like it.
It works.
Give him credit for that.
Yeah. And let's see. The only other thing that's Raw related is the cruiserweights, which on 205 Live this week.
205 Live. If you're not watching it, you should be. 205 Live is a good show.
Yeah, they've been running an angle here that Akira Tozawa was injured at Great Balls of Fire in his match against Neville, and he's been fighting through it. It's a shoulder injury, and he had a match this week against Arya Daivari for the #1 contendership on 205 Live, and superb selling of the shoulder the whole match. Akira Tozawa, A+ marks in my book for selling right now, because he is doing an amazing job with keeping consistent on that and making it real the whole match. He's even selling on offense. I know that's something you love.
I do. So. Huge fan.
Yeah. So that match.
SmackDown real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. That's it. That match is set. Akira Tozawa alongside Titus O'Neil versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. On the SmackDown side, Natalya is the #1 contender to Naomi's title. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a phrase I said in 2017.
Yeah.
That is a phrase I said in 2017.
And it's like the 3 million phrase. There's like 3 million phrases that are more shocking than that in 2017.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to assume that this is going to be a setup for Carmella cash-in. Do we think that Carmella succeeds if she cashes in?
I think either Carmella or Baron Corbin cash in on this show. Mm-hmm. One or the other.
Right?
Baron Corbin, go away.
Yeah.
Guy's not over. He's not very good in the ring. He's barely halfway decent on the mic. He looks like shit, and he's got a bad hairline. I cannot think of a single match or segment that has been elevated by having him in it as opposed to anyone else. But you know what? It's a foregone conclusion that he's next in line for a big push.
Yep. And he's probably going to get that big push.
If he wasn't halfway decent on Twitter, he would have no fans.
He's probably going to end up getting that big push after cashing in and winning the title at SummerSlam. And at the conclusion of what may or may not be a passable match between Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura. Another phrase I said.
Passable at best.
Another phrase I said in 2017. Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Wow.
Yeah. Here we are. After Nakamura finally had a decent match and may or may not have killed John Cena in the process.
Yeah, that match, I mean, aside from that last bump by Cena, wow.
Yeah.
That was,
too short, but still good.
Yeah, it was a good match.
It wasn't a great match, but it was a good match.
Mid-match commercials need to die. Like, they need to kill those with fire, because the fact that there was a mid-match commercial during that match made me want to just put a brick through my TV. Like,
yep.
Just WWE, bad form. Bad form.
Yep.
Yeah, so that happened.
Yep.
And yeah, fucking that neck bump. Ugh. God.
Ugh.
I can only imagine Nikki Bella watching that and immediately like grabbing her neck, feeling the pain that John was feeling.
Pain. Yeah.
Oh my God, the two of them, if they both are gonna be in freaking neck casts in 30 years as a married couple.
Exactly. They'll get them at the altar with their casts on.
I really hope that doesn't happen. Please, don't.
I hope so. Why not? Like how Diamond Dallas Page had to tape ribs for like 5 years.
I mean, Cesaro was still wearing fucking kinesio tape on his shoulder after, like 18 months at this point or something like that. I don't even know. It's been so fucking long. Yeah. I don't like that WWE Championship program, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting a rematch of AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee following another title match this week on SmackDown, where AJ won the title back.
This program needs to go away too.
Yeah,
it's funny. SmackDown feels like
the only reason
like so much retread stuff.
The only reason, there's a reason why we call Battleground Rematch Ground.
Yeah, and now we're getting rematch ground.
The only reason why this program needs to go away, though, is because of Kevin Owens. And I hate saying that.
Yep.
But Kevin Owens is just
Step it up. Chinlock Owens.
Not doing his thing. He's not pulling his weight.
No, and it's a lot of weight. Tip your servers. Sorry.
I hope that AJ wins this match decisively. I mean, and then we get a Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon program that we can just ignore.
Yep.
And we go on to have the AJ Styles U.S. Open Challenge that has 5-star matches for the entirety of the fall.
Beating him at WrestleMania for the belt.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yep. Should be great, because I'll be at the WrestleMania and I will be excited.
Yeah.
We can do 2 guys, 1 sport from the hotel.
I hope so.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll do it over the phone or something. I don't know. But we'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out. And then Rusev had a great match against Chad Gable.
Yeah, he did. You know what? Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Because they screwed the pooch on American Alpha. Because Chad Gable's way better than Jason Jordan.
Yeah, he really is.
Doomed in the WWE because he is small. Tall bums like Big Cass, Baron Corbin, and the next NFL practice squad tight end guy that Vince gets a hard-on for are going to be pushed ahead of Chad Gable, and that makes me so sad.
Actually, one tall guy who's coming in who will deserve a push is Donovan Dijak. So I mean, there's at least one tall guy who can
one tall former athlete.
Yeah, well, who can be worth the attention and worth the push. I mean, it doesn't make up for the 10 previous ones who have been mediocre at best. But I mean.
Speaking of former NFL players, where's Mojo Rawley?
I think they just fucking put an axe in this whole Hype Bros breakup angle because they decided it wasn't worth their time.
What if they're the ones attacking the? Oh,
I'd be okay with it if it was Zack Ryder attacking Breezango.
Yeah.
Rather than fucking Sanity or the Reapers. I mean, I would like the Reapers just so we can get more Luke Harper TV time. But, I mean, Zack Ryder, heel Zack Ryder attacking Breezango and then, having to get confronted and, tried to, by Mojo Rawley and Mojo having to try and stop him from being this, psychopath. That's a story I could get behind because that's something completely atypical and out of the blue. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, okay. Me too. Why not?
Yeah.
Gives him something to do.
And Mojo, Mojo was definitely Mojo had something going there. He was definitely pulling his weight. He had some really good stuff going on. And now he's just fucking disappeared. I don't understand that one either, but yeah. Yeah, Chad Gable and Rusev. Why is Chad Gable not Kurt Angle's illegitimate son?
That's what I just said. They picked the wrong one.
They really did. Anyway. So Chad Gable and Rusev had a great match. After the match, Rusev got on the mic and did his dumb shit, bashing America and Americans. Randy Orton came out and said, you don't have a match against, you don't have a challenger at SummerSlam. Well, here I am. Rusev spoke Bulgarian at him and then ate an RKO. So
he gave away the finish.
Yep.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Dumb.
Nothing Orton does matters.
At this point, yeah. So that covers the so far announced 7 matches of SummerSlam. Rumors are saying that there are going to be as many as 13 matches.
Well, think about it, right? We gotta think about it. There's 7 already. We're gonna have a tag team match on each brand. That's 9.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to have some sort of intercontinental thing.
Yeah.
That's 10.
Probably be Jason Jordan.
Probably, but some sort of intercontinental shindig for 10. Yeah. Right?
Probably going to get Hardys versus the Club for the #1 contendership. That'll be 11.
Yeah, and I can easily see 2 more random ones thrown in.
Breezango versus whoever's been attacking them.
Yeah, and then Sami Zayn and Mike Kanellis and Aiden English and all that rigmarole.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the prediction is that SummerSlam is going to be a 5.5 to 6 hour show. So
yep.
Order yourself
pee early.
Order yourself some extra pizza. Make sure you have extra beer or cider or whatever you're drinking.
Glorious deep dish pizza. If you are a good thinking person like myself.
Nope. I'm not eating casserole. I'm eating pizza.
Nah. Well, you're eating shit. That's your problem.
You're eating shit.
G1.
G1, yeah.
G1.
The pizza war can wait for another day, as always.
I want to talk a little bit about there's 2 things we've learned from this G1.
Go ahead.
There's many things we've learned from this G1.
Yes.
We've learned that Yuji Nagata is still great.
Yes.
We learned that Kota Ibushi is great. We've learned that Zack Sabre Jr. is awesome.
Yes.
But we learned lots of things from this G1. But I want to focus on 2 things that we've learned. This G1, Brother Chris, has shown undeniable evidence of 2 things. You ready?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 1. Kaz Okada is the best and most versatile worker in the world. He's having great matches against everybody, working a grinding schedule, all without taking bullshit bumps or destroying his body.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Kojima match. Look at the Juice match. Matches largely constructed around Okada's gimmick and storytelling, featuring good work, but taken to the next level by everything that surrounds the chops and the suplexes and the rainmakers.
Mm-hmm.
There were no crazy shit. There were no batshit crazy bumps in those matches. They still told great stories. They were still great matches.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Number 2.
Yeah.
So that's Okada, the best worker in the world.
Yeah.
Number 2, Kenny Omega's trying to keep up, but he's just not as good.
Yeah.
He's taken crazy ass bumps. How many burning hammers and head drops has he had? Right?
Oh my god.
How many V triggers has he thrown? And he still can't keep up. He's reaching deep in the bag of tricks, and he's not as good as Okada. He's putting himself and his opponent in a lot more danger than Okada is.
Yeah.
But he can't touch the stories.
It's sad. It really is.
Has there been anything as good in any Kenny? Have you seen the Okada Kojima match?
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
This will be lost in its bed. Has there been anything as good in Kenny's matches as the massive boos following Okada rainmaking Kojima when he was playing heel? Nope, there hasn't. Okada played heel against Kojima.
I mean, I saw Okada playing heel,
just like Tanahashi played heel against Nagata.
Yeah, I saw Okada playing heel in the undercard tag match they had the night before, and that was masterful.
The difference,
masterful.
The difference has never been quite so clear as it is during this G1.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? I think I figured it out. We talked about them earlier, but at the end of the day, Kenny Omega is still cut from the same cloth as the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
So even when he has great matches, he's still playing professional wrestler.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't play professional wrestler? Roman Reigns, Kaz Okada, AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. They don't play it. They are it. They breathe it. Kenny Omega still pretends that he's a professional wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, living the
look at the. Did you watch Okada Yano?
Yeah.
Versus Omega Yano. Look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the difference between those 2 matches. Both those matches were comedy matches. right?
And I gave all the praise in the world to Omega Yano last week on the show because I was a hilariously well done comedy wrestling match.
I thought Okada Yano was better, to be honest.
Yes, it was.
Because you know why? I figured this out on the train ride home. Because Okada looked at risk of losing. Because he is so great at making his opponents look good and getting himself over in the process.
Yeah.
How terrifying did he look against Minoru Suzuki back in February at New Beginning? Or how terrifying did Suzuki look against him, excuse me? Right?
Yeah. The sadist, you know, I mean, that even though that match went about 20 minutes longer than it needed to, even still, like, you got the message, you got the point.
Like, that was what it was. Okada they both comedy slapstick matches because it's Toru Yano and the G1. They're all comedy slapstick matches, right? They're both comedy matches, but Okada's was better because he looked like he could lose the match, right? Look at the Mike Elgin matches.
Wait, no. Hang on, no. Adam Rice, I need to refute that. No, we are not sounding like Jim Cornette.
No,
we can still appreciate.
I love comedy. No.
We can still appreciate what Kenny Omega is doing in the ring. We still recognize that is a valid form of wrestling. He's just not as good. But what Kenny Omega does is still fine. He still is doing a good job performing his work. He's just not as good as Kazuchika Okada.
The difference between Omega and Okada has never been as clear or as vast as it has been in this G1. My general point is that Omega is trying to keep up, but he's resorting to taking crazy bumps and spamming moves, and Okada is telling stories.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? Weird musical analogy. One guy's playing guitar fast, just because he can play guitar fast to try to, thrash, and one guy's singing songs, and one guy's a singer-songwriter. One guy's Bob Dylan, and the other guy's just a guy in a hairband. Like,
Omega. Yeah, I've got the metal analogy here. Okay. Kenny Omega is Dragon Force.
Okay.
All flash, all flare, no substance. Kazuchika is Dream Theater.
Sure.
Full of substance and meaning and solid performance.
Kazuchika's Bob Dylan. He gets it done with just an acoustic guitar or a Rainmaker in his case.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like Bob Dylan. There's nothing like Kazuchika.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Bob Dylan cannot play guitar as fast as,
the guys in Dragon Force,
or whatever, whomever. You know what I mean? Like,
well, Lars Ulrich is the drummer, but whatever. I get your point.
I guarantee Bob Dylan cannot play guitar as fast as Kurt Hammett.
Yeah.
But he's been a musician because he knows how to tell stories. Like, that doesn't mean Kurt Hammett's bad. I like Metallica a lot. It's just sometimes the story is all that matters. And for Okada, a guy who doesn't have a super great look, who doesn't do crazy flippy shit, like, he tells stories. That's all I need. This G1 has been nothing but great stories for the guy. Watch the Kojima match, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
I'm going to get caught up this weekend.
Watch the Kojima match.
Once I'm done walking around Manhattan again to catch another legendary Pokemon. But here's the thing, though. I mean, and I agree with you 100% that this has definitely been a revelatory G1 for Okada.
Yep.
But I'm baffled, mind-boggled by the math right now.
Yeah, talk about the math. This was your thing this morning.
So, Kazuchika Okada right now is undefeated in this G1. He has 12 points, 6-0.
I cannot think of the last time a guy ran the table.
I
mean, I'm scrolling up right now. No.
14.
In 2014, did Okada win the table? Nope. He lost to fucking Carl Anderson, of all people. And Naito, okay? So you would need 18 points to run the table. I'm scrolling up. No one has 18 points. No one has 18. I keep going. I'll let you know if I find someone who's ever run the table.
Maybe Nakamura in 2009. He had 12 in B block
with less people.
Yes, he did. He went undefeated.
Okay. Yeah, Nakamura.
And then went on to lose in the finals to Togi Makabe.
Pre-2011, New Japan was a strange place.
It was. Anyway, so Okada right now is undefeated. He stands primed to win B Block. And I don't, if you want to keep scrolling, I don't remember the last time when the current champion won his block.
Oh,
I can't think of
look up the. I'd have to do a lot more research than that.
Yeah, that would take more than just scrolling.
Yeah, because I'd have to figure out who was the title holder at the time, and you know what I mean. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? Did we say Okada doesn't have a great look?
I said Okada doesn't have a great look.
I think Okada has a fantastic look, but
he's a little flabby.
Not by Japan standards.
I mean, that's fair. That's true.
In Japan, people aren't going to have washboard abs. That's just not
except for Ace.
Ace is the exception, not the rule.
That's true.
There hasn't been anybody else in any of the Japan feds, now that I think about it, who has been.
Zeus and the Bodyguard are ripped to shreds in Big Japan. Those guys are
big, but that's Big Japan. I mean, I'm talking about
big. Hence the name.
Yeah, I'm talking about New Japan, All Japan, Noah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, Misawa never had a great look. Yu Nakayama never. You're right about that. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
Inoki. I am holding him to a U.S. standard. You're right about that.
Yeah, Inoki, Muda, all those guys.
Oh yeah, all those. You're right about that. You're my sorry, Kaz.
Yeah, it's all good though. I mean, I understand.
Sorry, Kaz.
Yeah, Okada, 12 points. Kenny Omega in second with 10 points. They right now are mathematically. It's basically a mathematical lock that one of the two of them is going to win the block, and it will probably come down to their match on the final night of the opening rounds when Omega Okada face off again. And it will probably come down to, if Okada wins, that will mean he will have probably run the table and will win the block outright. If Omega wins, he will win the block based on the tiebreaker. So, I mean, if there's some weird math whereby Evil Sonata or Suzuki could potentially win if Okada and Omega suddenly go on losing streaks, but it's highly unlikely. Like, if Okada wins tonight, Sonata is immediately out of contention because Okada beat Sonata earlier. And Okada is actually facing Evil tonight. So if he beats Evil, then I think that will knock Evil out of contention too, because Evil's at 8 right now. Okada will go up to 14. Yeah, that would knock Evil out of contention as well. So if Okada wins tonight, Evil and Sonata both are out of contention for the finals. That would only leave, and Suzuki would have to win out and beat Okada in their match, which is in a couple of days. Let me see. Kazuchika Okada versus Minoru Suzuki, August 8th. Yeah. So Suzuki would have to win out. He would have to beat Okada, and then Okada would have to lose to Omega as well for Suzuki to win the block. And Omega would also have to lose both of his would have to lose both of his other matches besides the Okada match on the final night in order for Suzuki to be eligible to win the block. Yeah, well, actually, I don't even know if that would be the case, because then I think Suzuki and Kenny would be on tiebreakers, and then in that case, Kenny would win on tiebreakers. Let's see. Wins 3 matches, he goes up to 14. Kenny. No. Actually, no. If Kenny loses 2 matches and then beats Okada on the final night, and Okada loses out all of his final matches, and Suzuki wins out, then Suzuki can win the block. But yeah, so that's B block. The math is pretty fucked up, but it's almost a virtual lock that Okada or Omega wins the block, and it will come down to that final night's match. There's also a possibility of draws and such too. But I mean,
that'll make it all sorts of complicated.
Yeah, but I'm not factoring draws into things, because last year being what it was, I don't think that they're going to go back to the well of the draws again.
3 straight nights at Sumo Hall to close out the G1, August 11th, 12th, and 13th. Do you think they sell out all 3 nights?
Oh yeah, without doubt.
Sumo Hall is like 10,000 people. That would be quite an accomplishment if they would have been able to pull that off.
Well, let's look at the main events for those nights, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Tanahashi Naito.
yeah,
That's a
is
sellout
one.
worthy.
Omega Okada is another one, and then the finals, which could be Okada Naito or Okada Tanahashi or whatever, some sort of permutation.
Let's look at A Block right now. A Block right now, Naito and Tanahashi are tied with 10 points apiece. There are 5 guys behind them, each with 8 points. But the storytelling direction is such that, you know, stepping outside of kayfabe, the storytelling direction is such now that it's basically a virtual lock that the main event at Sumo Hall on the 13th is going to be one of the following 4 matches. We will either have Tetsuya Naito versus Kazuchika Okada, Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada, or Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenny Omega.
Those are all dome-worthy main event matches.
Yes. All of them.
I don't understand what is going on.
Tokyo Dome on January 4th. And it's entirely, I mean, hell, 2 of those 4 matches could be the main event of the Tokyo Dome this coming January 4th.
Yes.
We could end up in a situation where the main event at Sumo Hall on the 13th is also the main event of the Tokyo Dome. That is conceivable here. I mean, unless they're planning on pulling some weird bait and switch thing where the winner puts the briefcase on the line in another match and loses the briefcase, or Okada puts the title on the line and loses the title before January 4th. I mean, I'd say that it's an astronomically low chance that they have Okada lose the title before Wrestle Kingdom, because he's been such a good draw lately. So there's a slightly better chance that the winner of the briefcase puts the briefcase on the line and somebody else takes it.
By the way, real quick, Minoru Suzuki's done a pretty good job for an old guy in this G1.
Yeah,
I've really been a fan of his selling. His selling in the Evil match.
Yes.
I thought his selling in the Evil match was pretty great. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been really good.
And Evil as well. Evil is having a fantastic G1. We talked last week about
we talked about Evil and Sonata. They're both on the cusp.
Yeah. Yeah, Evil possibly in the process of getting that slow New Japan push right now. I would not be surprised to see him challenging for the IC title at some point in the very near future.
Agreed.
The guy, you know, he's got a character that people latch onto and enjoy. He's got great work in the ring. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, Kenny Omega's goofy mockery of his "everything is evil" line aside, I mean, and yeah, it is a goofy line, but I like that character. I enjoy that. It's the New Japan equivalent of like it's like Diet Undertaker. It's New Japan's Undertaker, but it works. It works. You know what?
Undertaker.
Yeah.
0-calorie Undertaker.
Which Evil is not a 0-calorie person.
Undertaker.
Evil is definitely not 0 calories. Let's be sure. Let's be fair about that. But
calories.
Yeah. But this has been a great G1. But again, I'm mystified by the math. And yeah, Duke actually. Duke tweeted at me or direct messaged me on Twitter. I was told there would be no math. Well,
agreed. Sorry, Duke.
You got math. I'm all about the math. Juice Robinson also, I have to, even with only having 2 points right now in this G1 with a win over Kojima, he's probably going to finish with no more than 4. Because he still has to face Elgin, Omega, and Yano. I think the only match of those that he wins is the Yano match. But Robinson has been... I stand by what Brother Vidance, or Supercomputer Vidance, as we call him here on Two Guys One Sport. I stand by what Supercomputer Vidance said.
And we say that, by the way, from a place of love.
Yes. We love you, brother. Brother Supercomputer, we love you. Juice says...
Supercomputers had genders, but here we are.
Juice has been one of the most stellar performers of B Block in this whole G1. He's been fantastic, night in and night out, and especially since stuck that knee injury on him. Whether that's legit or not, I'm pretty sure it's not legit. But I mean, he's done a superb job of keeping it consistent from night to night on the selling and just being an all-around fantastic performer for someone who is still very young, having a breakout year of his career. This is an excellent achievement for the guy. Well done, Juice Robinson. You are doing the good work right now.
Breakout G1 for a lot of guys. A lot of guys have used this as a springboard to get better. Like, we talked about Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Elgin only has 4 points, but he's had some great matches. That match against Okada may be the match of the tournament. I mean,
that was a fantastic match. Yeah.
I don't know if it's my match of the tournament. I think Naito Ibushi is still my match of the tournament. But if you told me your favorite match was Okada Elgin, I wouldn't disagree with you. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't find fault in that statement. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, yeah.
Like I thought the match he had with Omega was quite good.
Yeah, the Omega Elgin match was a superbly well done match as well. Yeah, it's been,
you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking forward to Elgin versus Suzuki too. By the way, that's coming up. Is that tonight? I posted it, but is that tonight? That may be tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. Yeah. Minoru Suzuki versus Mike Elgin. That's going to be a dandy of a match. Mike Elgin plays a really good power babyface, and Minoru Suzuki, as we know, is the scummiest scumbag whoever scummed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Sal just said he's got CMLL on in the background. And they have a Juice Robinson banner up in Arena Mexico.
Love it. Yes,
Juice. Just made it.
Proving the Performance Center is a failure. Love it.
Let's talk about the UK Championship here.
Sure, by all means. And then we'll wrap up and go home. Well, stay home.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about injuries, but we'll
yes.
We'll save that for another night because it's getting kind of late. But I do want to talk about this UK Championship thing.
By all means.
This is actually going to be relevant going into next week. So, the United Kingdom Championship has been in existence since January of this year. Tyler Bate won the United Kingdom Championship on January 15th, 2017. That is approximately 7.5 months ago. 6.5 months ago. I'm sorry. Pete Dunne currently holds the title. Pete Dunne is due to defend that title next week in Progress, New York City, against the gentleman Jack Gallagher.
You going to that, right?
Yes, I will be previewing that event as well as Evolve next week on episode 23 of Two Guys One Sport. Be there for that. But next week's defense of the United Kingdom Championship will be only the 9th match for the title in its entire run of nearly 7 months. Tyler Bate has defended the title. He had 6 separate title defenses after his initial win over Pete Dunne. He defended against Trent Seven on NXT. He defended against Mark Andrews at Progress Orlando on WrestleMania weekend. He defended against Jack Gallagher on NXT. He defended against Joseph Connors at an NXT live event, download weekend back in May. And then again against Mark Andrews that same weekend, download weekend in May. And then lost the title to Pete Dunne on May 20th at NXT TakeOver Chicago. So 6 defenses in the course of 4 months. That's a good average. So Pete Dunne has had the title for 2.5 months now. He has defended the title precisely once. And that was in a fatal 4-way at ICW Shug's House Party 4 on July 29th. He defeated BT Gunn, Trent Seven, and Wolfgang. 1 defense in 2 months because WWE doesn't know what to do with this championship. And I think that is really the problem of the fact that they didn't really have an idea of what they were going to do with the UK group in general when they first organized that tournament. Because when they organized that tournament, how many people were in this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There's 16 people in this tournament. Of those 16 people who were in the tournament way back in January, only 6 have appeared on WWE TV since then. Those would be Tyler Bate, Danny Burch, Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, and Mark Andrews. That's it. 6 out of 16, so less than half of the field. And they haven't done anything to, with the exception of having Jack Gallagher show up for matches now every now and again, they haven't done anything to make this title relevant or important in any way. So, I pose the question to you, George. What should they do with the United Kingdom Championship?
Disband it. But do nothing with it. Like what? One or the other. Either defend it on a semi-consistent basis or not. They are treating it the same way New Japan is treating their United States Championship, which has had 0 defenses so far. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's the G1, Omega's in the G1, etc., etc.
Yeah. It's been, I mean, and it's also only been around for a month.
True. But I would just get rid of it. I would get rid of the damn thing. It serves no purpose at this point, in my view.
If they had gone through with the plan to have a UK championship or UK division show,
which has been announced as being suspended indefinitely or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but since they don't have the show, they don't have the belt. If they don't have the show, they don't need the belt for it.
All right. Well, if they had decided to go through with the show, how would you like to see them structure that? Would you have liked them to continue to use exclusively UK-based talent?
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't want it to be like the old WWF European title where anybody could win it?
No. I would keep it in its own separate universe, like 205 Live, only for British people.
Okay.
And Irish. I would allow Ireland.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to open that can of worms.
Ireland, Scotland.
That political can of worms.
Ireland, Scotland, Wales would all be, allowed to be included. Yes. So, given that most of the fields are at or close to cruiserweight division weight, would you think to bring in people like, say, a Drew McIntyre to challenge for the title?
I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't care about weight. I'd bring in Drew McIntyre. I'd bring in Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Besides the fact that he's not British, but we
Well, I mean, we said Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll let it go.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews isn't British, but I mean, Wales is part of the United Kingdom and has been since like 1100s or something. So, we'll allow it. Yeah, I'd bring in Drew McIntyre. I'm cool with it.
Sal proposes making it an NXT title. Would you be okay with having it be a mid-card title in NXT?
For eligible for all the Fight for, or just United Kingdom and Irish wrestlers?
What do you think? What if it was to be made an NXT?
I want to keep it in. If they're not going to go with the show, with the British version of 205 Live, with 100 Stone Live, whatever the hell they would call it, 10 Stone Live or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I would get rid of the belt entirely. Without the show, the belt serves no purpose. Now, if you're asking me if I think NXT needs a men's undercard championship, my answer is yes. But I wouldn't have it be the British title. I'd have it be the NXT Intercontinental Championship or the Florida Championship, whatever the hell it is. I would incorporate that into the NXT universe, and I would keep the United Kingdom Championship separate. If you're having the United Kingdom show. If you're not having the United Kingdom show, I would get rid of the United Kingdom Championship.
We don't want a Florida State Championship in NXT because eventually we would end up with a title of Florida Man wins Florida State Championship in NXT, and that would be terrible.
Yeah, friend of the show, Eric Rowan's younger brother would win the championship of Tampa, Florida.
ERYB, love you, man.
Yes, friend of the show.
All right, now. Do you think it would be, if they do continue to have this be something that floats around among the WWE affiliated or partner feds in the UK, do you think that they might run would you be okay with them running a surprise title change at like a Progress show or an ICW?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm cool with that. Why not? Yeah, for sure.
Even though it's not, do you think that they would though?
No. I don't think they would, but I think they should.
Yeah.
Why not? Why can't Jack Gallagher beat Pete Dunne for the belt in Progress? Who cares?
I mean, if that happens next week, I would be impressed as all hell if that does happen next week.
Jack Gallagher's a WWE, so why not?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it.
It's not like, Matt Riddle was doing it or something. Someone who has no affiliation with the company whatsoever.
Yeah. The big thing right now is that Pete Dunne right now is a quadruple champion. He's WWE. He's WWE UK champion. He is the Progress World champion. He is the Attack 24/7 champion, which is the Attack Pro Wrestling equivalent of the DDT. Iron Man Heavy Metalweight champion. Defend anytime, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's also the DWW champion, which is Destiny World Wrestling, which is a small promotion in Canada. He's actually the 6th title holder of that belt, which has previously been held by such luminaries as PJ Black and Rey Mysterio. So,
all right.
Yeah, that's something. So, Pete Dunne obviously is a very busy schedule. So maybe it would be a better idea to put the belt on somebody who is not quite as engaged all around the world. Yes. Even though Pete Dunne is a superb wrestler and
he's excellent.
Definitely deserves all the attention in the world that he's getting. But the problem is really just like I said, they don't have enough guys. Six guys out of 16. And the other 16 guys, who really, and this is no disrespect to the UK independent scene, people who are fans of the UK independent scene, I know that there are plenty of you. And I'm not meaning to disrespect anybody who is a UK independent wrestler because they have some amazing talent. But let's be real here. What kind of a name draw is a guy like Jordan Devlin or James Drake, or Dan Maloney?
I put on Jimmy Havoc just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I would be okay with it going on Jimmy Havoc.
For the hell of it.
Then proceeds to defend the title exclusively in death matches.
That's it. Here for that, and then here for that. So I don't know. I don't think they know what they're doing, and I don't mean that like as a negative. I think they got blindsided by the fact that their show isn't happening.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of just scrambling for a little bit.
I think also they're putting too much stock in the metrics of 205 Live. Mm-hmm. And how other programs in the network are doing, and not realizing that is not a symptom of those programs being bad, because as we've said, 205 Live has been fantastic. But people aren't going to tune into stuff on the network if the main programming hasn't been great.
No, they're not.
So,
got anything else?
That's what that is. No, I'm going to do a couple of quick plugs here. I'm going to throw some links into the live thread. Before the show started, I took some time to watch a couple of mini documentaries on a couple of talents that are currently recently signed to WWE that I highly recommend people go out and watch. The first one is a documentary from Melbourne City Wrestling on Evie, now known as Dakota Kai, who you will be seeing later this month in the Mae Young Classic. Fantastic little bit about her history as part of the New Zealand and Australia independent scene, and being the first woman from New Zealand in WWE. Great little bit about her history and her career coming up through the independents. Great story. I can't say enough good things about this one. And then the other one is Nixon Newell, first female of Fight Pro. Again, documenting Nixon's history coming up as the first woman ever to compete in Fight Club Pro in the UK, and how that became kind of her gateway to the independent scene worldwide. How she was, kind of came up training with the likes of Chris Brooks, Kaylee Ray, and Candice LeRae, and again, great story. This one actually features commentary from other wrestlers as well. The Evie one is just Evie talking about her career. This one has little tidbits from a lot of other UK-based wrestlers and other luminaries of the independent scene. Both great stuff. I highly recommend you watch both of them, because both Evie and Nixon Newell will be making waves. Nixon obviously is not going to be in action for quite some time because she is rehabbing an ACL injury, but
poor girl.
Yeah, I know. I feel really bad. She was supposed to have apparently she was supposed to have a deep run in the Mae Young Classic. and this ACL injury prevented her from participating altogether, which is really sad because she is. Everybody talks about Matt Riddle as like a prodigy of wrestling who came in and just came out of nowhere to be amazing talent. Nixon Newell is 22 years old and is already one of the 5 best female wrestlers on the planet. She is astoundingly good. I mean, and she came up. The thing that she became known for in Fight Club is intergender. I mean, and she's as good as, if not better, than Candice LeRae in intergender and in women and in straight women's matches.
Oh, I love me some Candice LeRae.
Yeah, she is as good, if not better. I highly recommend you watch. Watch that, Nixon. Yeah, they're in the live thread right now.
Sweet, sweet me, sweet. Yeah. All right, go
sweet. Yeah, definitely watch both of them. Really great stuff, and get ready to see Dakota Kai in the Mae Young Classic later this month. We will be talking about that the week
up sooner than you think.
Yeah, it'll be the week after SummerSlam. We will be talking about that during the show after SummerSlam. And of course, we need to promote all of our friends, fellow podcast, wrestling podcast junkies here on CageSideSeats.com, your one-stop shop for wrestling news and banter.
Yay!
On Wednesday night, we have Wednesday Night Shooting with Tiny Rogers and Andrew M. Swift. Thursdays, we have Rooter Radio with Mark Normandin and Nick Bond, as well as Not Your Demographic with Stunning Cell Cheeks and the enigmatic Aaron Klein. Fridays, we have Shooting Debris with Takers Media, Mr. Dr. Sindri.
Which you and I will both be on in 2 weeks.
Yes. In 2 weeks.
Saturday morning. We're doing a Saturday morning run-in.
They're doing a special Saturday morning show about NXT TakeOver.
We can't talk Friday mornings.
Yeah. So we will be on there on Shooting Debris in 2 weeks from tomorrow for a special takeover edition of the podcast. So be sure to tune in for them and tune in on Fridays as you are able, if you are not wage slaves like us, to listen to them live or check out their VODs. Friday afternoons we have Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling with 14 Fitzpatrick and Don Sal Guzmano, who they actually had to take a week off though because Fizzy is not feeling well. Fizzy, we hope you recover from whatever is ailing you very soon. We look forward to having your excellent insight and banter back on our ears soon. And then Friday nights,
man, we wish you nothing but the best in health, my friend.
Yes, Fighting Irish. The Mae Young Classic final is September 12th after SmackDown Live. Where I've talked about how bad that is enough times, so I'm not going to get into it again. And then, Friday nights, you have us. So thank you all for being here for us. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know to tune in to us. After every major WWE event, we have Cage Side Speaks, which Fizzy hosts and brings in members of the Cage Side Seats community to talk about all of their major events. So we'll be having a couple of those coming up soon, following TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam. And we also have, after every NXT, TakeOver Cage Side Live with Our Lady Justice and Sean Reuter. So they, of course, will also have a show coming up soon to talk about TakeOver Brooklyn. And next week, we've got more G1. We have a G1 final, almost finals preview. Almost finals preview. A block will be done by the time we talk. Yep. We'll have the B block finals. The B block final night. Between what? The final night of B block. Which will most likely be the semifinals of the whole tournament with Okada versus Omega. And then we have the finals the next day. Yeah. So should be great. It's going to be something. We're also going to have more discussion about whatever developments we have on WWE weekly programming, and I will be giving some previews of a couple of live events I'm going to next Saturday with Evolve 91 and Progress New York, both happening next Saturday in Queens. I cannot tell you how stoked I am for these two shows. You should be. I am insanely jealous. The cards that are already announced, I mean, even if no matches are added to either of these shows, and I'm certain that there will be matches added to the Progress show because I don't think they have a full card yet. But even if nothing was added to either of these two shows, they are both already stellar cards. I mean, I'm going to have a full day of wrestling that day. I'm going to be meeting up with live and in person with some members of the Cage Side Seats community to watch those two shows. It is going to be an awesome day. I can't wait. Fuck yeah. The excitement level is high here. All right.
I am excited for you. All right, that's it. We're off. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate your patronage. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your banter. We just appreciate you. You know what, Chris? I appreciate you as well.
I appreciate you, George.
Oh, thank you, man. Nice face turn we had right there.
Yeah.
That's Chris. I'm George. This is Two Guys, One Sport. Don't work yourself into a shoot. G1 starts in 6 hours. So stay up or go to sleep and watch it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening.
All right. Catch you next time, guys.